The list of Xbox One exclusives for 2017 is a bit underwhelming after seeing the cancellation of Scalebound and games like Crackdown 3 flying under the radar. Luckily, Halo Wars 2 is coming in less than a month, and so far it looks very promising. Hey guys, JV here with Level Up Gaming, taking a look at the Halo Wars 2 multiplayer Blitz beta. Until January 30th, everyone can get their hands on this open beta with a single new mode called Blitz. In this video, we'll explore what this mode is about, along with my general thoughts on how the game is shaping up ahead of its release on February 21st. Starting us off, we're going to take a look at Blitz, and again, this is the only mode in this multiplayer beta. In fact, it's called a Blitz beta for that reason. And I will go ahead and say, if you're a Halo Wars fan and you haven't played it yet, you haven't been following this news, this may disappoint you because this mode is really nothing like what we've seen from Halo Wars in the past. However, it's important to note that the full game will feature a campaign, just like the original Halo Wars, along with regular multiplayer modes. So this is no reason to get upset or anything like that, unless you just don't like, the general game. This is its own mode. And so everything that I'm going to talk about, the following, is only in Blitz mode. There are no cards or pack opening or any of that system outside of Blitz. So now that we've got that out of the way, what is Blitz? Essentially, it's just like Domination. You can play it 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3. You can play with your friends. That's what I've done most of my time with this beta. There is no base building in this mode. It's not traditional Halo Wars. Instead, after choosing a leader, which determines your faction and also some unique units that you can, throw onto the battlefield, you build a deck of cards, and you do this outside of the game. Once you set that deck, you bring it into the game, and you have a lot of different slots for different decks. I was really impressed with how robust the interface is for building your card deck. There's a lot of things that you can look at and play around with. You can choose your starting army, which are your starting troops, very important at the beginning of every single match. You choose every single card in your deck that have a variety of energy costs. The resource that you need to actually play cards is energy, and we'll see that when we actually look at some gameplay. But this is like Hearthstone. If you've ever played Hearthstone or watched gameplay, there's an economy that you have to learn. There's a balance of energy costs that you have to really factor in when you're building a deck of cards. And the great thing is that you've got a lot of tools to evaluate your decks before you bring them into the game. You've got kind of an average energy cost, and you can see kind of a chart, a graph, almost like Hearthstone, that shows you, okay, I'm a little heavy on high cost cards. I need to go back and fix that. It's very cool. There's a lot of intuitive little mechanics here that I was impressed by. You can tell that 343 and Creative Assembly were really trying to show off this mode. It is impressive. Hopping into an actual game, Blitz again offers 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3, and there's a set of cap points. So essentially we're looking at domination here. Each team has a starting base, and you have to control 2 of the 3 points in order to actually earn score. So if you're just holding 1 cap point, like C for example, you're not going to be earning points towards winning because you have to control 2 points. In order to capture those points, you'll need to move your troops onto them and defend them from the enemy team. And I think it's unique to Blitz. You can actually spawn units anywhere and basically plant reinforcements wherever you like, but they will have a penalty to, I believe, their attack damage and their health if you spawn units outside of your main base. If you spawn them back at the base, then they are at full strength. So you have to make judgment calls all the time. Do you need to spawn units right now on that point because you need reinforcements or you're going to lose it? Or can you spare that little amount of time and spawn units back at the base? It's always an interesting decision there. Speaking of spawning units, once again, this is really unique for Halo Wars. It's all about what you have in your deck. So the game chooses 4 random cards and puts them in your hand, and you have to choose one. You can cycle through and spend a little bit of energy, but this is all about energy management and managing your resources and making the right plays at the right time. Almost every single unit in this game is unique, and they all have different strengths and counters. It's all about getting that right and playing that at the right time. So you can tell each individual card has a set of icons that represent the infantry, vehicles, and air units, and the game tells you which units counter your enemies effectively. For example, if you have a unit that has a green infantry icon, it's really good against enemy infantry. So it's all about learning what counters what and how to play stuff at the right time. That just comes from playtime and experience. So far, I've played around 3 hours of this beta, and there's just a few things that I've noticed about Blitz in particular. It can be a really fast fast-paced game mode, and games could be very quick. They could be 5 to 6 minutes if, one of the teams doesn't know what they're doing, or it can be a constant struggle because, once again, if you're on a point and you're constantly being, contested on that point, you're not going to earn any score for your team unless the other 2 points are capped. And if they are, then you're absolutely steamrolling the other team. So it can be very quick or it can be a constant struggle in a very competitive game. Right now, in my opinion, I don't think decks have a huge impact because everyone has around the same amount of cards and the same quality of cards because the beta hasn't been out that long. Again, you can earn a lot of packs. There's challenges and whatnot. I'll talk about that in a moment. But starter decks seem to be so balanced. There's a lot of balance of cards. The big game changers so far seem to be the Scarab and the Condor. Those are the huge, very high cost cards that make a huge difference in battle. They can turn the tide. They are temporary units, but they're so hard to take down unless you got an established army to counter them. I don't think I've had enough playtime to really understand the strategy and overall meta of the game so far. We can even determine that in just this beta, but overall, it's really fun. I've had a lot of fun with this particular game mode, and with the packs and the cards, I can see it being really addicting. Unfortunately, there are going to be microtransactions on release. You're going to be able to buy packs and get cards more quickly than otherwise. The developer has responded to these concerns and has said you can play Blitz, you can play the campaign, you can complete challenges and whatnot to get packs, but if you want to spend money, there is a shortcut there. You can get cards faster than someone else just wanting to play through the game and not spend extra money. That's not something I like, obviously, and of course it's a monetization model that Xbox likes and, Halo likes. Of course, they introduced that with Warzone, with Halo 5 or Halo 6, whatever Halo's out right now, and you can buy packs in that mode. It's kind of along that similar line. Again, it's not something I like, and it's going to be frustrating if I see someone with just massive, awesome cards, close to release. Clearly, they either got very lucky or bought the packs. So, the big thing, though, the big takeaway for me is that, like it or not, you don't have to play Blitz. This is just a singular game mode. This is not a representation of Halo Wars 2 in its entirety, but clearly it's a mode that Creative Assembly and 343 have put time into. It's very fleshed out, and that makes sense. They're going to earn more money. This game is going to have a longer tail from a monetization standpoint because of these packs, and I personally hope that doesn't spoil the experience. While Blitz mode is not representative of the entire Halo Wars 2 experience, I can kind of speak on how the game looks so far, and we can tell how everything else is going to turn out. Generally speaking, the game runs a lot better than the original. It's a rock-solid 30 FPS from what I could see so far. There's a lot more attention to detail overall with the units, more animations. Things are prettier. That's something you expect with a game that is released. I don't know how long it's been since the original Halo Wars, but things are a lot improved, and that's what you expect. The user interface is much better. It's very clean, very pretty. Something I didn't like about Blitz, though, is that the cards seem to block the screen on Xbox One, at least. That's what I've been playing this on. They block the screen, and I hope that that's kind of pushed down a little bit. I just don't want my entire experience to be, blocked by these cards. I think they've made it easier to access all of the commands for controlling your units and setting certain orders for your troops, and that's dictated by the D-pad. There's also some bumper functionality for controlling all your troops. I believe you could do that in the original Halo Wars, but things seem a lot more intuitive and fluid and obvious. In Halo Wars, I didn't know what a lot of the buttons did. In Halo Wars 2, it seems like that's more, well communicated. They've introduced daily and weekly challenges, and I think that's just a great idea for player retention. It works perfectly with this kind of game. For example, the challenges so far have been finish this amount of matches with this specific leader or do this with a specific faction, and so far it's been something I've wanted to do. It's an incentive. I can see myself returning to play the game for longer after release than I would have otherwise, even in Blitz mode, which has specific challenges as well. I plan to put several more hours into this beta before it ends, but so far from what I've played, this seems like a promising entry into the series for fans of the original. Even if you don't like Blitz mode, there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of the foundation for Halo Wars 2 and the traditional game modes is great. It's here and it's going to be really good from what I can see. In terms of bringing in new players, Blitz might be the game mode to do just that for people that aren't into StarCraft or the original RTS kind of game that Halo Wars was. Maybe this, more Clash Royale kind of game type or Hearthstone kind of game type can bring in new players. I can see that because it is addicting and I have enjoyed myself so far. Whether you've actually played this beta or you're just watching my video, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Halo Wars 2 so far. Is this a game you plan to pick up? Is this something that you're going to skip? Personally, I believe I'm going to play Halo Wars 2 and spend some good time with it, maybe even make some tips and tricks videos here on the channel. So let me know what you all are thinking in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for constant updates on when we're uploading new content. Check out our website at levelupgmg.com where you'll find complete libraries of every single video we upload moving into the future. Also, if you're feeling generous, consider supporting us further through our Patreon. Becoming a patron allows you to engage with us directly and unlock exclusive content like monthly Q&A videos. So visit our Patreon if you'd like to learn more. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and click subscribe if you haven't already for more tips and tricks and gaming related videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Level Up Gaming.